Hi friends, I'm Pastor Diana. Welcome to a daily devotion. I am so glad that you have chosen to continue on going on this journey of considering what it means to be reshaped in God as we talk about embracing change. Now, I have to confess, if you joined me yesterday, I told a fib. Here, and if it's your first day joining me this week, let me refresh. Yesterday, I said that I decided to change things up by doing my daily devotions from my office here at the church, and that I was going to wear the same shirt because one of the things you may or may not know is that we record the devotions in one sitting and we just change our clothes. We just change our shirts so that they look different every day. Well, I said I was going to wear the same shirt, but then I decided to change my stole. And that is because this has a special meaning. You know, so one of the things that is really hard with change is dealing with it. Because our first thing we do is go, whoa, that's change, that's different. And for some people, they notice all the little changes. Other people, it's a big change that they have to notice. Sometimes it's things that we have control over. Sometimes it's things we don't. And all of this is really, really hard. And I don't know about you, but change will sometimes make me anxious because I don't quite know what's going to happen. And so I'm kind of fearful of what the future may hold because I don't have and so I try to control it by trying to get more information or fit things through the thing or make a list or whatever I am being anxious about. But you know, that might not be the best way. So I want to read Psalm 139, which I've actually preached before, and it might be my favorite psalm. Every time I read it, it's one that has a really deep meaning. So I encourage you to read the whole thing. But I'm just going to read the last two verses. Examine me, God. Look at my heart. Put me to the test. Know my anxious thoughts. Look and see if there is any idolatrous way in me. Then lead me on the eternal path. Examine me, God. Look at my heart. Put me to the test. Know my anxious thoughts. Look to see if there is any idolatrous way in me, and then lead me on the eternal path. You know, the thing I love about that verse is that it doesn't say, don't have anxious thoughts. It doesn't say, oh, you're supposed to be perfect all the time. All it is someone praying to God, saying, God, you know me. So I open myself up to you. Know how I embrace change and how I don't like it and how I might be anxious about it in the future, or how it makes me feel. One of my favorite people sharing about anxiety is Brene Brown. And she talks about anxiety as, if you saw the old Willy Wonka with Gene Wilder, a bean in the tunnel where things just keep spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning. Yeah, that's how, I don't know about you, but that's how I feel sometimes. But this psalm reminds us that God knows that. And so we just need to open ourselves up to God. And then God can continue to lead us in an eternal path and lead us through change, sometimes in pretty unexpected ways. And that is why I am wearing this stole. So a month or two ago, there was a box that showed up for me at the church. And I'll be honest, I didn't recognize the name. And so I'm like, who's mailing me a box? What box? I'm expecting nothing. It's not an Amazon package. Why am I having this box? So I was like, okay. So I opened it up, and inside was a bunch of stoles, including this one. And I looked at it, and I read it, and there was a handwritten letter, and it said, Dear Diana. And it was from a woman who I grew up with her sons, who are good friends of the family, who's moved around and changed. And she was closing her Etsy business that made stoles. And so she had some stoles that she didn't want to just give to Goodwill. And so she sent them to me. And I was privileged enough to get them and to have some of them and to share them with other people. And as I put this stole on, it reminded me of how loved I am and how cared for I am by people who I may not have seen in years, but love me just because I'm a child of God. So as we consider how are we supposed to deal with change, and as we might be anxious, let us remember to open ourselves up to God. And when we do, God will remind us of whose we are, always. Will you pray with me? Examine me, God. I do not embrace change easily, and sometimes I fight against it. But in this moment, I am opening myself up to you, and I pray that you will guide me on the eternal path, never leaving my side, whatever change I am going through. Because I trust that you love me unconditionally, and you will see me through. Amen. Thank you so much for joining me for a devotion. I hope that you continue to check in with these and continue to think about change and how it's a part of our lives and invite God into the process. And it might be a change for you, but don't be afraid. Leave a comment today in the YouTube comment section about what change are you having to wrestle with. How do you like change? Maybe you love it. We'd love to hear more. I hope most of all that you have a blessed day.